Now, the S&P, you might think, that's a weird coincidence, Don. Why did it gap up right to that yellow zone and find some sellers? If you're new here, that's super weird. Truth is, I've been on a 13-year lucky streak, and the streak continues for where we'll find sellers. Now, if we were to break that down to a smaller time frame, we jumped up into that yellow box, found some sellers, came right back down. So, something to break down right here. If we were to just focus, let's draw another box. Let's make this one orange. Let's go orange right here. We don't have anything orange on the charts. And somebody else, my admin drew orange lines the other day. Now I feel like I need orange lines for some reason. But let's say there's an algorithm, and the parameters are to sell what we have inside this area, this area of attention. This is how algos work, right? They're not out to get you. It's not the Matrix. These aren't sentinels. It's not actually AI. Please, for the love of God, stop saying that. It is not AI. There's no artificial intelligence. There is an algorithm, which is essentially just a more complicated version of plus and minus, just a little bit more math. Had you just made it a little bit past high school, you would understand what an algorithm is. But other than that, I know it's a big word, and a lot of people just don't take it that far. But there's parameters. It's start to get us in here because we're going to sell 3 million contracts. We need to sell 3 million contracts, and we don't want to market sell and drop the whole market. We don't want to let anybody know our movements, so we need to just blend in and play that game of tug of war. Sell a little bit here, sell a little bit more up here. So what happens is, right here, that algorithm hasn't been triggered yet. It's not. We're going to sell up here. Nothing here, nothing here. We've got to go to a smaller time frame. All right, so nothing's been triggered yet. Now we get into here. We get into this zone. Now we have a few contracts sell, so it triggers. This is basically a sprinkle off the top of an ice cream cone. Nothing. We get back into it, a little few more, and it sells back off. Retail hasn't picked up the idea that somebody big is selling, so they drive it right back into it because right below here, no algo is selling. There's nothing's, think of it like sand. I don't know, like imagine you're holding a handful of sand, right? And then you just crack your fingers a little bit, a couple little things of sand. What's it, a thing? It's not a pebble. A grain, a couple grains of sand fall out. Anyway, imagine this whole transaction. Every one of these wicks is the algo turning on, releasing a little bit, more and more, but letting the market continue to trend and think things are going up. Out of 3 million contracts, you had, let's say it's not, let's sell 1 million here, 1 million here, 1 million here. This is all just take with a grain of salt, right? 100,000 here, and it ramps up. So by the time we get up here, we're selling everything. Sell 100,000 contracts here, 250, another 100,000, 50,000. So now there's 500,000 contracts that are sold. We're selling off a few more. Retail picks it back up. We toss off another 100,000. By the time this is all said and done, you got 1 million contracts sold. Algo turns off. There's no more selling. This is somebody else selling. So I think that's resistant, right? That's what retail calls it. Then we jump back. Now, we gapped all the way into this. Now that algo turns on and says, if we're at this level, we're selling chunks. We're selling blocks of things, not just a few shares that someone might think on Robinhood is selling. So it drops it down. They get into their lighter mode. Retail starts to fuel it, pick it back up, back into this heavier area. So if you were to take just that visual, by this time, we'll call it 1 million contracts sold here. Let's say there's only 2 million contracts to sell left. We filled 1 million here. Let's say this red candle right here is the last 1 million. That's how you get this to finally break, as there's no more sellers. When things push up like this, it's either A, lack of sellers. Most of the time it is. It's actually not the momentum you think it is. Or B, buyers have stepped in. Now that scale can be tilted either way. Less weight on one or more weight on the other. Doesn't matter. Oftentimes when you guys see a giant push like this, it's not because everybody's buying, just because no one was there selling. It took one person to push this thing up. Which is why I often say, like, when I take things into consideration as far as after hours, that candle was there for a reason. It did print. Somebody did think it was worth that much, but it's a lot easier to convince 3 people the price is worth something versus 3 million people during market hours. So when you look at that, I do have to consider how many people are still left in this zone, and that will likely break out tomorrow's Monday's push. If we reject off of this, which it certainly will if China comes out and says, we don't know anything about this trade deal. And how many people would ever believe it again, there's a trade deal, if China comes out tomorrow and says that? I don't know the full details of it. I saw a couple people tweet absolutely nothing. just that there was a trade deal. Thanks to everybody on Twitter for showing that. You mean nothing to the world. But this is interesting. Thanks. You know what's really interesting? Can you guys see this? Okay, this is my Discord right here. There it goes. My Discord keeps turning black. What is going on with that? Anyway, back to the S&P. Okay, so these lines right here, if you guys were following last week, now I'm going to break all these things down real quick, but just look at these. Last week, a whole week inside. NASDAQ, whole week inside. Grandpa Dow, whole week inside. The Russell, even the Russell stayed inside, with a little smidge above. But the last week we had the markets pinned sideways, didn't do jack. You know, if you're on the Patreon, you follow my plays. You saw we sold some calls and puts. Sold a couple SPY puts. We sold some AMD calls, Mara calls. A lot of just sideways action, which is great. As an option seller in the market sideways, it means we just make money while all the investors just get to sit around. So anyway, with this push up, full send. I just hope Tesla goes up. I'm in the 285 Tesla calls, expiring this Friday. And for everyone that just follow my plays, I did buy Tesla shares for this very reason. I want to talk about something real quick. Because everyone keeps asking, well, why am I so bullish Tesla? I'm going to deviate real quick. This is basically the bottom. Sorry, here it is. Here's the S&P. Now look at this giant spike down. Everyone's freaking out. Remember, everyone's posting on Facebook, thanks, Trump, my 401's down because I know nothing. That's basically what they said. There's that same spike in Tesla. Look at what the market's done. Free fall, right? And then Tesla just hangs tight. That to me tells me that's already bullish. Like, we're already holding the ground right here. Everyone's in free fall, selling everything. Nobody's selling Tesla. And then on top of that, last week we rallied into this, and then we played the ping pong game back and forth. So I did buy. I won't say I bought it 285. Anyway, the growth count mirrors my main account. So while my main account bought calls, I bought shares in the account, and that's what I posted, to Patreon. So it's up, it's rocking and rolling, gapping up above that. We kind of hit that zone. We just went right, almost didn't expect to move, pulled back a little bit. If that continues up, I would really just worry more about the 330 area. Oh, Tom Lee said that. China just finished their conference. They said it was mutually respectful and good talks. They will continue future talks. They will release the details together tomorrow. Already with more information on here than I've seen on Twitter all day. Thank you, guys. Anyway, back to the markets and our normal thing. If you haven't followed me for some time, I've been telling you guys this. I'm sorry, I'm getting FOMO on Tesla, and it's happened to pan out because I've been buying a lot and selling a lot of puts down here. So, long story short, I've made a bunch of money, and well, I'm right. Looking at the S&P again, gapping up like this. As far as the expected move, we're probably going to be pretty close to that 1 standard deviation already. So the volatility coming in hot. I don't think the VIX even priced. Yeah, VIX is settling down, so nothing pricing this in. Let's mark this out real quick. That's 2 standard deviations. 95% chance we don't get above that, right? So 68% chance we stay inside this range. This is where market makers are fine. Market makers do need to enter the chat and chart when we get inside here. That's to do with delta hedging and stuff like that. I've explained that numerous times before. Just watch probably any of my older videos on Sunday. Getting into here, I will look at selling probably some SPY credit spreads. So if you're in the Patreon, you'll see all of that. There's something called WAP. There's another platform. It's like Patreon. A couple people have asked me to be on that. That's probably coming out. Just for anybody who gets hear that in the future, I'll just end up saying join my community. It'll just be on a couple different things. The exact same thing. It's just for the people that already have it. Anyway, you've probably seen me sell a lot of call spreads, and you'll get that notification when I do. For the people on YouTube, it'll just be my next video where I talk about, hey, I told you guys I was going to do this on Sunday. It'll be like Wednesday. Here, already did, and I'm up. So as soon as we cross that 1.5 mark, I'll probably be selling like the 594, 596 call spreads on SPY. What's wild, this question comes up every time. Why don't you do that on futures? Because I am a futures trader, right? So I trade all asset classes. There's tax benefits. Everything about it's better in the futures market. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Maybe I'm just used to trading options on SPY. That's it. There's no reason not to be honest. There's every reason you should be on the futures. My brain just like, let's go trade SPY.